Nnamdi Kanu's name is back at the center of attention again, and this time the message coming out from his side is very clear. Enough is enough. For those following his long legal journey with the federal government, you already know that this issue has been dragging for years. But right now, things have reached a very serious point. The Federal High Court in Abuja has officially fixed November 20th as the judgment date in Kanu's ongoing trial. And everyone, from his supporters to political observers, is watching closely. Kanu's lawyers have been arguing for months that the government's case against him is built on shaky ground, especially because they claim the law under which he was charged is no longer valid. They say he's being judged based on a repealed act, something that shouldn't even stand in a lawful court. But the court and the federal government are saying otherwise. The judges believe the case must go on, and that's exactly why they've set a final date to give their ruling. Now, when Kanu said enough is enough, it wasn't just about anger. It was frustration that this case keeps going back and forth without a clear end. Imagine being in custody for years, waiting, appealing, hearing one adjournment after another. That kind of situation can test anyone's patience. So his words are more like a warning, a demand for fairness and urgency. But here's where things get really sensitive. Every time Kanu's case comes up, it stirs strong emotions, especially in the Southeast. For his supporters, it's not just a court matter. It's about justice, identity, and respect. For others across the country, it's about law and order, about whether the government can maintain peace without bending the rules. And for the international community, it's a test of Nigeria's ability to balance justice with political fairness. Please, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and keeps you updated with real-time stories like this one. Now, let's get deeper. Kanu's movement, the Indigenous People of Biafra, or IPOB, has always maintained that their struggle is peaceful. They want a fair hearing and they want justice handled by the book. But because of how sensitive the case is, even peaceful protests have to be handled carefully. The government is always worried that demonstrations could turn into unrest. So security agencies are on alert every time this case comes up in court. In the last hearing, the judge made it clear, no more delays. The court warned that if Kanu doesn't open his defense at the next sitting, the court will go ahead and give judgment whether he speaks or not. That's what they mean when they say final warning. So when people read headlines like Kanu gives final warning to FG, they're not wrong, but there's more behind that line. It's also the court's own final push to move the case forward. Now you might wonder, why is this case dragging so much? Well, part of it is because both sides, Kanu's team and the government, were playing by the law, but in very different ways. The government believes it has strong evidence of actions that go against national unity, while Kanu's team believes this is political persecution. They've filed several motions, and every time one is dismissed, they go back and try another. That's how legal processes work, especially in high-profile political cases. If you've been following this story from the start, you'll remember how it all began. Kanu was first arrested years ago, granted the bail, and then rearrested after leaving the country. Since then, his detention has been one of the most debated issues in Nigerian politics. Many have called for his release, saying dialogue would solve more problems than force ever could. Others, however, insist that laws must be respected, no matter who is involved. Don't forget to like this video if you're still watching. It helps YouTube show it to more people who want to understand what's really going on. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. You'll never miss any important story we drop. Now, beyond the legal side, this case has a huge emotional side. In the Southeast, people feel like the trial represents something much bigger. It's about how their voice is treated in the larger Nigerian system. There's a feeling that the region has been politically marginalized for years, and this case just reopens that conversation. Every statement from the court, every reaction from the government, every protest or social media trend, it all carries emotional weight. But here's something very important to note. No matter how emotional things get, peace should always come first. There's nothing good that can come from chaos or violence. So while people are free to speak out, they must do it calmly, respectfully, and legally. Everyone wants justice, but justice must come through peace, not through conflict. Kanu's lawyers, on their part, have been working non-stop. They're trying to convince the court that the charges should be struck out entirely. But the prosecution has refused to back down. They say they have every legal right to continue, and they've already presented their evidence. The court is simply waiting for Kanu to respond. As we move closer to November 20th, tension is quietly building up. Supporters are praying for his release, some are planning peaceful gatherings, and many others are just waiting, hoping the court will act fairly. It's like the entire country is holding its breath. Because whatever the outcome is, it will definitely send a message, not just about Kanu, but about Nigeria's justice system and how it handles political cases. Now think about it. If the court rules in Kanu's favor, that would mean freedom after years of detention. It would be a massive celebration in many parts of the country, especially among his followers. But if the court rules against him, then his legal team will most likely appeal immediately, and that means the fight will continue in higher courts. Either way, the story doesn't end this month. It's only moving into a new phase. Remember, if you're enjoying this analysis and you appreciate balanced reporting, please like this video and subscribe. It keeps us motivated to bring you the real gist without bias. Some people have asked, is it possible for the government to consider dialogue again? The truth is, it's always possible. In fact, many peace advocates have suggested that the government should open up a line of communication. Not because they're giving up on the law, but because dialogue often heals wounds that legal battles cannot. Justice is not only about punishment, it's also about reconciliation and understanding. Still, the federal government seems determined to let the courts decide. Officials keep saying they won't interfere, that everything will follow due process. That's good, because in a democracy, the rule of law should be respected. But it's also a delicate balance, because too much force can create resentment, and too much delay can create frustration. Both sides must handle this with wisdom. As the date draws near, media houses are preparing to cover the judgment. You can expect a lot of attention, a lot of headlines, and a lot of analysis. But when all that noise comes, remember to look for facts, not emotions. There will be rumors. Fake stories and online drama, don't get lost in it. Wait for official reports before believing anything. And let me remind you again, if you like the way this gist is being broken down, give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button right now. It really means a lot. Now, one thing that keeps standing out in this story is the contrast between law and sentiment. On one side, the law is saying, we must follow procedure. On the other, supporters are saying, we just want justice and fairness. Balancing both sides is never easy. That's why this case is more than a legal trial. It's a mirror showing us how Nigeria handles sensitive political questions. You can feel that frustration when you listen to people talk about it. They'll tell you they're tired, they just want closure. And honestly, they're not wrong. Everyone deserves closure. This case has lasted too long and it's time for a clear conclusion. One that respects both the law and the people's rights. As I'm telling you this, you can almost picture the court atmosphere. Lawyers exchanging legal arguments, reporters waiting outside, supporters praying in groups, security men keeping watch. It's intense, but calm. Everyone knows something historic could happen. So here's the bottom line. November 20th will not just be another court date. It could be a turning point in one of the most watched cases in Nigeria. Whether it brings peace or more questions, one thing is certain. Nigeria will keep talking about it. Please don't forget, like this video if you're watching till now. It helps more than you think. Subscribe too so that when the next update drops, you'll be among the first to hear it. Now, the big question everyone is asking, what happens after the judgment? Well, no one can predict it for sure. If Kanu is released, the government might face pressure to review similar cases. If he's not, the tension might rise, but hopefully everyone stays calm and peaceful. What matters is that the process must be transparent and fair. The truth is, this story represents more than one man. It's a story about justice, about patience, and about how far people are willing to go to be heard. No matter how it ends, history will remember it